And then you're locking it in by looking at the symbol when you're finished reading your character sheet. Hey, welcome back to Uncivilized Rebirth, a place of reason and a voice of rationale on the argument for healing. I know a lot of us go through life and we just try to suck it up. I did for years and years, and I got to a breaking point where something had to change. And I did a deep dive on healing, and I started researching many different things about the human body, about the mind, about the brain. And what I teach on this channel is what I've put together myself. The last 3 videos, I talked about creating a symbol, creating a character sheet, doing breath work, and reprogramming old memories. These things build on each other. The last video I talked about breath work. I talked a little bit too much about the situations where it's applicable and how it helps you. And then near the end of the video, I got into how to implement your breath work. Now this video, I want to talk about putting together 3 key components and programming them in your brain in the same spot. That way, when it's time to use the breath work, these 3 components will already start to be tied together in your brain. Now in the video, I talked about creating your symbol, and its original symbol, and it's simple. And then you fill out a character sheet, and that character sheet is the highest version of yourself. And you want to aim for nobility. And the more details, the better. And the goal is to imagine who you will be, the person, not anything around you in the external world. But you also want to visualize this person. Now, once you have your character sheet and your symbol, this is where you start tying in your breath work and combining these 3 components: your symbol, your character sheet, and your breath work. So this video won't be very long, but it will be a simple instructional video on how to start programming these 3 elements together. So here is just an example. There's a symbol, there's a little information about the character, and here's the symbol at the end. This says, my character information sheet. The more detailed, the better it will be. So that's what I want you to do, is have a sheet of paper, draw your symbol at the top, fill out the information about your character, and then write a symbol at the bottom, the same one you started with. And while you do this, you want to visualize. Now here we go. When you first pick up your sheet of paper, you look at the symbol at the top. And what I want you to do is tighten the core muscles like we talked about in the last video. And this is the breath work that Joe Dispenza teaches. So go check out his stuff for way more detail on it. Basically, you tighten all your bathroom muscles. You try to touch your belly button to your spine and then fill your lungs up. And then you focus at the base of your brain at the tip of your spine, and you contract your core. And you're forcing oxygen and energy up there. While you do this breath, tighten my core, and I look at my symbol, and I hold it tight, and then I release it, and I visualize that symbol while I'm doing that breath work. And then I go through, and I read the character sheet, and at the bottom of the character sheet, I look at the symbol again, and I take a deep breath, and I tighten the core, imagining that symbol in my mind and forcing that oxygen and that energy up there, and really focus on that energy. Now do this again. You look at your symbol, tighten your core, take your big deep breath, tighten your core again to force all of that oxygen and energy up. Read your character information. This time, I want you to start visualizing and creating the image of this character in your mind and what you become, and also some aspects in your eternal life that have become part of your life because of who you are. So the goal is to focus on you, not the external items, but when you become the person you want to be, the external changes. And as you visualize that, you go to your last symbol at the bottom of the page, look at it, tighten the core, take that deep breath, tighten the core again, and imagine that symbol. And you can also imagine your character with the symbol overlaid and tighten that core really tight. Then let it go and breathe just regularly. Then do it one more time. So you do this 3 times. I suggest you do it 3 times at night, like right before you go to bed, and then 3 times in the morning right before you wake up. What you're doing is you're programming in this unique symbol into your mind. It's new to you. And you're programming in that character information with that symbol. And then you're locking it in by looking at the symbol when you're finished reading your character sheet. And when you do this, so Joe Dispenza teaches us breath work where it takes a force of will. It's not a natural thing usually to tighten your core, take a deep breath and tighten your core more and then focus up in your mind. What you're doing is your spirit is going in and taking over these functions, and you're taking control, and you're doing something that's not something you're used to. So you're going in mechanically shifting gears and making this happen yourself. So when you do that breath work with looking at that symbol at the beginning, read your character, visualize your character, take that breath again, and then look at that symbol when you're finished reading it, and you do that 3 times. These are 3 new things to you. New symbol, new breath work, and new character sheet. They are all being programmed in simultaneously into your brain. So now, once you start programming this in consistently, when you do that breath work, this codex, that character, that symbol will automatically populate because the brain associates all 3 things now. So your breath work is going to trigger the symbol in your mind, the image of your character, all the information about your character, because we talked about a symbol being seen can populate tons of information about that symbol in the brain. So you're compiling all this into one spot in your brain. And then in the last video, I talked about how when you do your physical exercise and you want to quit, you do your breath work. And when you do this programming in properly, you do that breath work to push about 10 to 20 seconds further, let's say on the row machine, where you would usually quit. Now you're programming into the brain that this character pushes further, and you're becoming this character. I hope you're tracking on that. I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to go a little more in depth in some of the grunt work, or the homework, I guess you would call it, on getting this stuff programmed into your brain, so it makes it more basically, what's the word? You're programming in a new marker in your brain. So you're making it more, not relevant. I maybe not even should have said making it more. Okay, anyway. So if you have any questions, leave them below. And if you're doing this work, I just want to encourage you to be disciplined in it. And it does really, truly work. You're programming in a new codex of how you want to be. Because like I said in the previous video, there's a lot of people who have been raised with terrible examples. And then all the examples in the world we look to eventually let us down. So when we create a character that is protected in our minds, the world can't touch it and it becomes infallible. Do we become perfect? Heck no. Only the Creator is perfect. But it gives us an example to strive for. And this tool gives you the ability to start becoming the character that you want to be. Okay, in this video, like I said, I hope that made sense. And I'm going to end the video. Roadhouse, Spiritual Hard.